What's up, everyone? So today I am in a 2007 Ford Mustang Saleen, courtesy of Maserati Lotus of Greenville. I'll have their website in the description below, along with the link to this exact car. I am very impressed with this 2007. It has 10,000 miles on it. It is super clean. So let's go ahead and start it up and take it for a drive. Setting off in the Saleen now. As I mentioned, 2007, just at 10,000 miles. I mean, this interior is super clean for being, you know, a 2007. Everything, all the leather seems to be in excellent condition. These headrests are really cool too. I like the slotted design in them. That's pretty neat. I haven't seen that in too many other cars before, so that's pretty cool. So production for this car went from 1996 to 2009, so it had a pretty good run. You could get it in either a coupe or convertible, and of course I'm driving the coupe. Underneath the hood of this particular car is the 4.6 liter V8, and in ranging from those years of production, the horsepower ranges from 220 all the way up to 550. So depending on if the model is supercharged or not. This car does not have the supercharger, so it's cranking out about 335 horsepower. I wasn't able to find the torque on this car, unfortunately. I did a lot of research on trying to find that, but the torque for all of these cars ranged from the mid 300s to a little over 400. So depending, again, supercharged or not. And these cars offered either a 4 or 5 speed automatic or 5 or 6 speed manual. I'm not sure if the 6-speed manual is only in the supercharged version. This has a 5-speed manual, so that's why I'm saying that. And the clutch in this car is surprisingly light for a V8. I would have thought it'd be much heavier. I drove a GT500 a while back, and that clutch was very hard to push in. So I'm surprised that for the V8, again, the clutch is super easy to use. And even, I feel it's a little lighter than my Lotus Evora, which is surprising that this is a bigger engine, but again, very easy to use. And the curb weight on this car is right around 3,500 pounds, so 0 to 60 is around 5 seconds. If you have the supercharged version, I would place that closer to the 4.5 second range. So even though it weighs quite a lot, it still has a great 0 to 60 time, so it gets up and goes. It's a pretty quick car, and it's a lot of fun to drive for sure. One thing that I did not know about the Saleen model is that there's actually 8 different versions that you could get. This, of course, is, I would say, the base. It's the 281, so it's the non-supercharged version, of course. You could also get a 281 or an S281, so of course supercharged. That placed the horsepower on this car from 335 to about 465. So obviously a huge upgrade in horsepower. They also made a 15th anniversary, a 20th anniversary. There's a Veterans Edition too that I found. Of course, that was only sold to veterans, so I'm sure there's not many of those cars out there. And there's a few others as well. So it's pretty cool that there's 8 different kinds to choose from. And of course, you know, I had no idea, doing a lot of research on this car myself. So it's a cool learning experience to be able to find out all this information on a brand new car for me. I'm not really looked into Ford Mustangs that much, so it's a neat experience to learn about this car and the fact that there's so many different editions and models, and even just exterior styling. So the exterior looks of this car have slight differences than just a normal Mustang. I like the front end. It looks nice and wide and aggressive. You have a little bit of a front splitter. You have fender flares around all 4 tires. They stick out just a little bit over those 20-inch alloy wheels. You have nice side skirts, and finishing off in the rear with kind of a wider rear end than a normal Mustang. I like the boxiness around the taillights. It kind of continues around the whole back. And then of course you have the dual exhaust tips. For the suspension in this car, you do have a solid rear axle, and I do know that the newer Mustangs are now independent suspension, which would make the car handle a lot better, of course, than the solid rear axle. But even going around turns at slower speeds, I don't even feel any body roll. I feel that handled very well around that turn. Of course, I'm only going about 40 miles an hour, you know, not on a back road or track or anything. But the solid rear axle seems to handle fine around turns. I know these cars are mainly good for straight line, but I'm sure with the independent rear suspension now, they'll handle, you know, extremely well. So Ford uses a brand called Racecraft for their suspension. So this model has tuned springs and nitrogen pressurized shocks. So the ride in this car is very comfortable. I haven't felt, you know, anything out of the ordinary. Again, going around turns, it feels very smooth. So I really like the suspension in this car. I think it would handle great on mountain roads. So for a larger car, around 3,500 pounds, like I mentioned before, with this suspension and going around tight corners, I think it handles very well. You have plenty of power to get out of those turns as well. Let's get on to the exhaust now on this Saleen. Of course, the 4.6 liter V8 gives it that nice low rumble. I've always been a fan of the V8 sound. I don't know what it is about it, but it just sounds so good. Up a Mustang, it would definitely be a V8. Again, I don't know what it is. I love the low, like the deep aggressive sound of that V8. Moving on to the interior of the Saleen now. For being a 2007, I don't think it looks that dated. Of course, it doesn't have a navigation screen. I don't think many cars did in 2007. But you know, the steering wheel is in excellent shape. It's quite large. I'm not used to that big of a steering wheel in a car, but it's got your cruise control buttons on it. Nice 3-spoke design. You have all your AC vents along the dash, all your AC controls down below. Of course, 2 cup holders, a good sized glove box. So for a 2007, I think it looks really nice. Everything is in really great shape. You have an easy gauge cluster to read. You have your speedometer on the right side, tach on the left, and then all your engine temperature and fuel gauge in the center. And in the center of the dash, you have your oil PSI and engine temperature. Now with the supercharger, I believe you'd have a boost gauge, and I think the engine temperature would still be up there. The storage space in this car is excellent as well. You have the rear seat room, which of course gives you a lot of space. I think you could easily fit 4 people very comfortably in this car, and you do have a good amount of room in the trunk as well. Alright, so finishing up my review in this 2007 Ford Mustang Saleen, I definitely think it's a really cool car. Again, I haven't been in Mustangs that often, so it's a pretty cool experience to have one for a few days, to be able to check it out and let you guys know what I think of it. Huge shout out once again to Maserati Lotus of Greenville for providing this Mustang for today's video. Definitely check out their website in the description below, along with the link to this exact car. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Click on that subscribe button down below so you can stay tuned for more videos on our channel. Like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. And I'll see you all next video.